I'm McCamie, and I'm a transformational health coach, as you might know. And I take a really practical approach to helping my clients make small changes that can make a big impact in their lives. But I find that sometimes people are a little bit blocked with admitting to themselves like the small action step that they might need to take. And so I wanted to bring to people's attention something that has made an impact on me, which is like tarot and oracle card reading. But I have kind of like a fun approach to it and haven't done so much research into it myself, so I wanted to bring in someone who has a lot more experience with all this sort of stuff, which is my sister Belle. Hi Belle.
Hi McCamie. Thanks for coming over for this interview today.
Yeah, thanks for doing it. I wanted to get together so we could talk like about wellness and health and like how tarot and oracle cards can be a part of that.
That's a great idea. I think they can go together pretty well. I think that's a good combination.
Yeah, for me, I feel like health and wellness, like it has a lot to do with like not just physical but spiritual and emotional. And I think that there's a lot of things that can go with that. How do you think tarot and oracle can kind of support that?
I think a lot of people like to do their own tarot and oracle card readings. A lot of people like to take some time to reflect, use a journal, see what comes up. So I think that could definitely support lifestyle changes in different ways, because you would be getting to the root of different issues. Mm-hmm. And I think that would support if you want to make different small changes in your life.
Yeah, okay, I agree. And I know you've been reading like tarot and oracle cards for a long time, but how did you get into it originally? Tell me a little bit about your journey with tarot.
Okay, I think I got interested in the spiritual path about 10 years ago. I started with like a little bit of Buddhist information, and like Deepak Chopra is really popular, mm-hmm. stuff like that. And then I think I was first drawn to tarot and oracle through all of the colorful art. Mm. Just, it really drew me in. There's so much cool symbolism, so I think I got an oracle deck first. Mm. I can't remember what tarot deck I got first. It was very gradual for me. Yeah. It was, but there's so much information out there right now. It seems like there's this like wave of people learning about tarot, astrology, all the different kinds of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of things out there. So, and I feel like for me, like my introduction to tarot and oracle has been through you, who I like obviously trust because you're my sister. But for people who might be like brand new to like card readings, mm-hmm. and stuff, yeah, like what are some of the things they should know? Like, what's the difference between tarot and oracle? Okay. Well, let's look at a couple of tarot decks and some oracle card decks. The different tarot decks I use are based on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. That's from the early 20th century. Okay. So there's certain imagery and pictures on each card from this deck that most other contemporary tarot decks are based on. Not necessarily, but a lot of them are branches off of the Rider-Waite-Smith. Okay. So there may have been tarot that existed before that, but this is all kind of like modern day tarot. Yeah, exactly. I think the tarot dates back like really far. People aren't exactly sure where the very first tarot deck came from. So there's a whole history to it, but I would say the modern ones are based on this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what was your original question? It was about how I approached the decks, or how I would describe them? Yeah, or like what's the difference between tarot and oracle? Okay, so a modern tarot deck has 78 cards, mm-hmm. and it's divided into the major arcana and the minor arcana. Okay. The major arcana are cards like the Fool and the Hierophant, the Death card, the World card, all different ones we can look at if you want to. Okay. The minor arcana are made up of 4 different suits. Mm. Wands, swords, cups. Wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. Mm. And they each have a meaning based on the suit. And there's also court cards, like King and Queen and Page and Knight within each suit.
Oh, okay, so the court cards are separate from the major arcana.
Yes, those are part of the minor arcana.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to look at some?
Yeah, can we look at some?
Yeah, so these are part of the major arcana. So this is one of the most optimistic cards, the Sun.
The Sun.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know if people will be able to see it. The Sun.
Let me see. Can I see this? Oh.
So then, okay, and then, but this is tarot. So tarot, you said it's 78 cards.
Yeah.
So oracle cards, there may or may not be 78.
Yeah, I feel like oracle cards is usually around 50.
Okay.
It could be any number. The nice thing about oracle cards is that it's incredibly creative. So you might think there's a traditional meaning to each tarot card that you have to keep in mind. But with oracle cards, you can have a unique theme for each oracle card. You can just make it up. It's very creative.
Okay. Cool.
So should we look at some oracle cards too?
Yeah, let's look at oracle. And then while we're looking at that, so for tarot or oracle, like for either you could do a card reading, or you might like come across online someone who's done a card reading. So what could people be looking at card readings for? Like, what are some reasons you would use a card reading?
Okay. So I think the traditional way of approaching cards would be for divination or fortune telling. But more recently, I think people are interested in inspiration and contemplation. So you want to reflect on some ideas, something that maybe has been beneath the surface for you, and you haven't taken the time to reflect. So I think people are just doing it for inspiration and reflection these days.
Yeah.
And there's still some fortune tellers, definitely, but I don't think anyone is doing it for fortune telling in the exact same way as 30 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's probably some people out there, but it seems like contemporary cards are kind of more about personal development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, I'll just speak for myself. I feel like tarot, like originally, it does remind me of fortune telling, the kind of like the stereotypical fortune teller you'd see in movies where they have like a crystal ball, and it's like kind of like a little suspicious.
Yeah, I feel like some people do use scare tactics, so you have to watch out for that. They're going to use negativity to try to hook you, to try to give them a lot of money. So that obviously you want to stay away from that. You don't even necessarily need to get a separate or a intuitive reading from someone else. You can just get a deck of cards and do readings for yourself.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So doing a reading for yourself. So like, what kind of training would you say someone would need in order to do like a reading, or to get inspiration from like a reading that someone else does that they run across online?
Okay, so I'm entirely self-taught in terms of the cards. I have had a little bit of classes on intuition, but the way I dove into it, well, I'm really about the pictures and the imagery. But then I also had to learn the traditional meanings. So it goes hand in hand. It's a combination or a balance between just, getting a book or going online and looking up each card as it comes up. But you also want to make sure you reflect on the symbolism and what it means to you in that moment that you're seeing it. So it's a couple of things that you're kind of weighing or juggling.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, because you said you're self-taught. I mean, you've been doing this for 8 to 10 years. So you've had a lot of practice.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's some things. Okay, this is good. It's like I know what a card means to me. So when it comes up, I'm like, oh, okay, that symbolism definitely means a certain thing personal to me that it wouldn't mean to someone else. It might be in the general realm of the traditional meaning of the card, maybe not too much. So as long as you are consistent, you might want to be consistent with your symbolism. Yeah. And that way you know what to reflect on.
Okay. That leads me to, because you were saying when you see a card that you know what the meaning is for you. So for general readings that people might run across online, then how can different people take meaning from like the same reading?
This gets into being in touch with your own sense of intuition, I think.
Okay.
So if you're seeing a general reading online, you have to notice like what rings true to you. Like everyone says like if it resonates or not these days, that phrase resonating. So are some of the topics and themes resonating with you? That would, use your inner intuition. Like,
Okay.
does it seem like something that could apply to your life recently or not? Just be kind of honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's how it works with like quote. Like if you run across like a quote or something that someone's posted, and you're like, wow, that really applies to my life. So that the same can be said of any card reading. That you would see.
Like that sense of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this uplifting? Is this inspiring? Does this remind me of an ongoing issue?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like kind of a little insight, like, oh, that would apply to this ongoing issue I have. Like an inspiration from a quote.
Okay. I think sometimes people even find it validating if it's like not inspirational, if it's like kind of like in the dumps, and they're like, oh wow, that's really what's going on with me.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier when we were setting up. We were talking about so-called negative cards.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes if I get a card that's a little more challenging, I think of it as recognition of a difficult time, like you're saying, or something that I want to let go of.
Okay.
So let's say you got like El Diablo, which is what I call the devil card, to kind of make it a little more goofy. And it could mean like you're too controlling about a certain issue in your life.
Mm.
So it's like a reflection on that, but you can let go of that. So it doesn't have to be a negative card, because it's something positive if you change that.
I see. So whereas some people might interpret it as like something really foreboding and then be fearful of something bad, you're saying that you can look at it just as still inspiration, and like, oh yeah, like I recognize that this is going on in my life, but I can use it as just information going forward.
Yeah, I think that really gets into how we can apply the cards to lifestyle changes and coaching and stuff, or like self-reflection, because I think a lot of the cards, if you're doing readings for yourself, are about personal development and perhaps getting through a block. Like if you get a so-called negative card, it could be something helping you remove a block to something you want to accomplish.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So, yeah, I guess this goes back to a little bit to what we were talking about before about like fortune telling. I guess we already talked about that, like, because I was wondering how seriously people should take fortune telling. Like, if it's something that they seek out, like maybe they want their fortune told, or they'd like some information about something that's coming down the pipe for them. But you're saying that they should always just use their own intuition.
Yeah. Think about what feels right to you, what's uplifting and healthy and supports your well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk also, if you want to, about how you shouldn't do a card reading if you're feeling very vulnerable, or if you already know the answer that you want. Don't do a card reading. Just journal and manifest something for yourself with a clear intention. If you already know what your intention is, you don't need to ask the cards or reflect on it that much unless you want to journal about it more.
Okay.
So if you, I would say, I think it's called fishing sometimes. Like, don't look to the cards for, I don't know. You have to be careful, because you could look to the cards for confirmation if you're foggy about an issue. But if you know for certain, I don't know, there's so many different attitudes towards it. You see what I'm saying? You have to be it's very subtle.
Yeah, it's good, because it's like, oh, I can see people wanting to look to cards for like validation or confirmation of, to feel confident about something or to feel reassured. But yeah, it seems kind of tricky, because then if you are just kind of, maybe fearful of making a decision on your own, you don't want to use the cards as an excuse to to take action or not take action.
If you already know the action you need to take, just take that action. Write a list and take those steps. So it's you have to be really honest with yourself and cultivate in different ways that personal honesty and your own inner sense of intuition and what you need and your own path.
So how would someone know that it's a good time to get a card reading?
That's a good question. The types of card readings I do are insights for each person's spiritual path. Some kind of inspiration for that. In general, I would say it's anytime that you kind of want to look at an issue that you think is kind of a little bit unconscious for you. So it's not in the main part of your alert mind. Like, it's not something you think of day to day. You have kind of a nagging feeling that there's some kind of issue ongoing for you. So that's a time that you can turn to the cards and get some more information about an issue that's stuck with you that you don't feel like you see clearly yet.
Okay. And then what would you do with that information?
That's a good question. I think it would be unique for each person, but I mean, I think you should keep a tarot journal or just a journal in general. And you don't have to feel like this very savvy sense of intuition. You can just be honest with yourself. Like when you see a card, like Page of Pentacles, you can just be really literal. Like you're looking at it, he's upholding this pentacle. Like what are you putting on a pedestal in your life? Just whatever comes to mind is fine. Especially when you're doing a reading just for yourself. So then you would just journal about it, I think. And that could be, it would probably just unearth something very obvious in a natural way. So like, you would, for example, you would say to yourself, like, okay, holding something up, I put something on a pedestal that I don't want to, or it's like, and then you think of like, someone you've been putting on a pedestal and it's affecting your relationship with them.
Yeah.
But that would just come to mind for you naturally. You know, you would know what that means to you. You don't have to search so deeply. It'll just come to the surface.
Right. And I think it probably goes back to your intuition, because I think usually with stuff like this, it's with like a lot of things, it's going to be like the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think a lot of times if people are uncomfortable with the answer, then they'll kind of make a joke about what first comes to mind. They'll be like, oh yeah, like I put, I can't think of a good example, like I put this on the pedestal, like ha ha ha. And then they'll go to the next thing that makes them feel more comfortable.
Oh, interesting.
But they really should stick with like the first thing.
Yeah.
And kind of look into that maybe a little deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it gets into huge personal development questions about how honest people are with themselves. And that is very personal, and I don't know, it's so interesting to me. It's like a whole discussion in and of itself.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
For sure. So let's see, what else? Is there anything else to say about kind of things people might want to know about tarot or oracle just in general before getting started?
Oh yeah. I think the most important thing to do when you get your cards out in front of you, you want to shuffle them. The most important thing is to set a clear intention for your card reading.
Okay.
That's like the most important thing. Because otherwise you won't know what you're looking at that clearly. I mean, it could be something broad or something specific, but you just want to be clear with your intention. Like, what are you wanting to uncover today?
Okay, because then the same card could have a different meaning based on what you were like asking or what intention you would set.
That's true. Some people have different rituals that they like to do with their cards. I am attuned to Reiki, so if I was wanting to do a more formal card reading, I could just get the cards and use my hands and do some Reiki, subtle energy, if I wanted to. But
on the deck.
Yeah, on the deck of cards.
Okay.
And then you want to shuffle the cards, and you want to draw them, you know, randomly, like have them face down, draw them randomly, and I like to decide with my intention. I decide ahead of time how many cards I'm going to draw.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I like to use my intuition to draw like a card.
Yeah.
Like I shuffle it and then I like play them out, and then like if one like has stuck out, I'm like, oh well, like I'll take. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll just take the one off the top, and then I end up drawing a different one instead because my intuition is like draw from the middle.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. It's perfect, using your intuition. People a lot of times talk about synchronicity. Are you familiar with that term?
Yeah, where it's kind of recognizing things that like seem like they're a coincidence, but really it's not.
Yeah.
Because of like energy matching up.
Yeah, it's like a meaningful coincidence. Some people say it's something that really sticks out, and you're like, with your intuition, you're like, yeah, that would remind me of this symbolism or something like that. It's like, I think it can be literal or not, depending on your belief system. But sometimes synchronicity comes into play in how we approach the cards, because you're thinking of this idea of, you know, just intuition and I mean, it's a big unknown. Like, who knows how the cards work exactly? So it's up to each unique person to decide what it means to them in terms of their belief system.
Okay.
It's kind of a tangent. But
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because I mean that's how like a card reading can apply differently to different people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Cool. So what else?
Along the lines of belief system, I don't think you have to believe in spirituality specifically. You could just use the cards for inspiration by themselves. Mm-hmm. So I don't think people should feel like they have to believe in someone else's ritual in order to approach the cards and to buy a deck. Like, if you're curious and you're just attracted to the art of a particular tarot or oracle card deck, like, just experiment and just mess around with it. It's not going to be anything. It's not a big deal. You know, just do it in your way.
Okay.
In your own way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, would you, I know like you and I had set an intention beforehand about doing the reading. Do you want to go for that now, or is there anything else we should say?
Yeah, sure. That'd be great. I think we have some different decks in front of us. You picked out a oracle card deck intuitively.
I did, yeah. Out of Belle's decks that she has, I chose one. That spoke to me, and we had already set an intention for like a layout of a card drawing that we wanted to do for a general reading for everyone who might be watching or tuning in later, like 2021, right? Oh, so we're gonna do Oracle card reading for 2021.
5 cards.
Yeah. So you're saying you like to do Reiki sometimes on the deck? Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's just to clear the energy. I don't think there's really a huge reason to do it, but it's something nice to kind of help set the mood.
Okay.
So let's take the cards out. This deck, it says, has 45 cards. That's a good number. So we're just gonna do some Reiki. And then we'll shuffle. You know, you can shuffle too if you want. Oh, kind of big.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I feel like sometimes the more artistic ones or like the cooler, like picture ones, like are bigger cards than.
That's true. Yeah, there's different sizes. It's fun. Okay, you want to shuffle some?
Sure. Do you ever shuffle on like a deck of cards?
Not usually.
Like
Some people like to do that if the cards are smaller. I don't usually like to do that because I think it damages them a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you do reversals, you usually have to do that.
Oh, okay. Just to get them well shuffled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. There you go.
Okay. So let's see here. I'm gonna pick 5 cards. It's for each season, and then an overview for 2021. So as I'm saying that, we've set our intention. So would you like to draw the 5 cards?
Yeah, I'm gonna draw. And does it matter? I should set them out in what order I draw them in?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Nice. That's perfect.
Okay.
So usually I like to look at each card individually and then look at all the cards together too.
Okay.
You can get different ideas.
Cool.
So do you remember your layout? It was like, I guess let's put it in this way. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one was in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking of like the 5th one kind of as the overview for the whole year.
And you said you wanted to start with kind of winter because it's the beginning of 2021.
Yeah, we just had the winter solstice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So winter, spring, summer, fall overview.
Okay.
Okay. You want to draw the first one or open it?
Well, so we have the shark card.
Whoa, swim away from this situation. That's a great thing about oracle cards. It's very clear. You know, you don't have to look at it too much if you don't want to.
Oh, that's it. So it's giving us its general interpretation, like right there on the card. Yeah.
Exactly. So to me, this would mean put the past, put 2020 behind us to try to start fresh, because it says swim away from this situation. Just like walking forward, leaving 2020 in our dust, because it was very challenging for almost everyone, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What does that mean to you?
Swim away from this situation. Well, it has mermaids on it, so it immediately reminds me of The Little Mermaid. Swim away from this situation. Yeah, I mean, I think 2020, for sure, it's like, yeah, we're swimming into a new year. So I think it probably means something different to different people if they've had specific challenges during 2020.
That's
like,
true.
Yeah.
If we look at the picture, looks like someone is approaching her and she's not that interested. Maybe he's trying to sell her something or making her some type of offer, and it's saying swim away from the situation, so it's something that's not to her benefit. So that can mean different things to different people.
Yeah, maybe if someone has had like a business offering or like a proposal, yeah, it would depend. Yeah, maybe it's not the right time for them, or not the right not the right collaboration for them or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what's the second card?
Let's see. Just be for spring. Oh, this is the Lioness.
You've earned all your stripes. Oh wow, that's very positive.
Wow, that's cool. So this is, I guess this is like merfolk, or so far. There's like a mermaid. You've earned all your stripes. So it looks like she's, like taking a vacation and is kind of, relaxing after having put in a bunch of hard work.
Yeah, like all her hard work is paying off. That's really nice.
Who do you think the fin is for? Like, do you think that's an old version of her, or do you think that's like something else?
That's a good question. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be in her line of sight, so it's like something she doesn't need anymore, or something passing her by that she doesn't need. Like she's so focused on the work that she's been doing that there's something else, like something along those lines.
I was thinking maybe in combination with the other one, maybe that's the situation she swam away from.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like so in her dust that it's not even like a passing thought for her anymore.
Yeah, because you can see the fins or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, they kind of tell a story.
Cool.
Should we look at this one next?
Yeah.
Villain, you can always rewrite the story. That's interesting. This is kind of getting into some type of past sadness or feeling of loss, maybe.
Interesting. Oh, I was thinking just to go back. The last one was called Lioness too, and I think of the Lioness as like kind of like looking out for her pride, like right, like the lioness and like a lion pride is like in charge of like kind of bringing, bringing like food and bringing stuff to everyone. So what's this? So this is villain. This is for summer. You can always rewrite the story.
Looks like she's angry about something. She's about to smash something with that rock.
Yeah, it looks like she's about to smash that seashell with the rock.
But the seashell is playing music. A lot of different things going on. You can always rewrite the story. So something she wants to, I don't know if destroy, but something she wants to recycle and try something new. You know what I mean? Like there's something from the past she wants to let go of. Yeah,
I guess what this is speaking to me is that, like maybe if there is music coming from this seashell, maybe it's like kind of like the refrain of like negative thinking she has in her own like mind, and she's like taking control now, and it's kind of gonna just like annihilate is kind of a strong word, but I was gonna say smash those negative thoughts like once and for all, and then just like kind of go on her way.
I like that interpretation, and that would support someone's lifestyle or improvement journey or personal development journey, because it's giving you some insight into that, like what you just said. And she's on the beach, so then, and it's like a moon, like it's like at night, so like after she does that, she's either gonna like
I don't know, walk on down the beach, or maybe there's a boat coming to get her. She's gonna.
Yeah. It is interesting that she's so caught up in some type of issue here that she's doesn't notice the beautiful surroundings.
Yeah, that's very true too. Because like the moon is really beautiful, and like the waves are calm. So yeah, it's almost like her preoccupation is like preventing her from enjoying that. But it seems like she's about to be rid of it because she's like. Yeah. What maybe once she no longer hears that, then she'll just be able to take in her surroundings.
Exactly. And let's try to fit in the seasons here too. So this would be summer.
Yeah.
That's interesting because summer is a time of sunlight and going outside and feeling this vitality. So it's interesting that she's leaving something behind, and maybe she'll get a new sense of vitality.
Yeah.
Just because of the placement.
Yeah, and it is interesting too that like it's for summertime it's like a night scene because like the nights are so short comparatively in the summer to other seasons. So
yeah, that's really interesting. Okay.
Yes. So I don't know, it's interesting how much can come from like one card.
Yeah. Do you want to turn over to the next one?
Yeah. So this is Thorns. Weave together the crown you deserve. Oh wow.
Huh. That's interesting. That's interesting. It's almost like a contradiction or something in that card, because it reminds me of the celebration and socializing card in tarot, which is like 3 of Cups, but then it says Thorns. So I can't tell, do these ladies get along? Like, what are they creating? Stuff like that.
Yeah, who is the crown for? I guess it's for yourself. But yeah, it's interesting. I saw the word thorns, and I had to look for where the thorns were, because at first all I saw was the flowers.
Yeah.
So that is a little bit of a mixed message.
Yeah. So much going on.
Huh.
Yeah. It seems like they're all getting along though. Oh, is it like different generations? It's almost like mother, aunt, daughter, or mother, daughter, friend, or something like that, do you think? Or not necessarily, but...
Yeah, or like, or it could be like sister's daughter. Like,
oh, yeah.
This is one, but yeah, it seems to me like family connection of some sort.
Different ages.
Or could it be, I know sometimes they do weird things, like could it be like the same person in different eras of their life, like the same person?
It could be, like this is someone reflecting on when they were younger.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't understand what the thorns would represent in this case.
Yeah, I don't know either. It says, weave together the crown you deserve. So do you deserve to have like a thorny crown? And what's so why?
I don't know.
That's pretty negative.
I know, it's weird. Maybe it's about like seeing the roses and not the thorns. But that's not exactly what it's saying. I don't know. Should we consult the book?
Yeah, I guess we haven't consulted the book yet.
Let's see if I can get it out. Nope.
Weave together the crown you deserve.
Okay, number 14. Okay, am I read it?
This right here is the ultimate card of celebration. Interesting. Not just of yourself, you're amazing though, but of those around you. When you're done putting on your crown each and every morning, go and help someone else put on theirs. You have so much love and wisdom to spread, so don't waste it. Yeah, the thorns, when I first saw it, my initial impression was that they were getting ready for like a wedding, like making like garlands or bouquets or something for like like a celebration, like they were saying. But yeah, the thorns really throw me off. So.
Yeah, it's like don't let little pebbles in your shoe get you down.
Yeah,
like, don't let something small like a thorn detract from the celebration.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Huh. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so now should we do the last card? Number 5. Yeah, no, that moisture came from. Oh, it's gray. Endings are inevitable.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
It's kind of a challenging card.
Yeah.
Huh. Endings are inevitable. It almost kind of goes with the first card, like swim away from this situation. Endings are inevitable. It seems like it's going to be a year in 2021 that we're really maybe laying to rest different issues that came up in 2020?
Yeah, because I think it's, like for me, I always think it's kind of funny, like kind of the start of a new year, because people think all of a sudden, I think sometimes people think all of a sudden things like reset, but it's not true. Like everything carries over.
Yeah.
From before, so it is like a time that you could choose to have new beginnings, but also you can't kind of disregard everything that's led
up to
that point.
Like, what can you learn from what's actually happened? Kind of like what was your real experience? What can you learn? And you're gonna have to do the reset yourself consciously.
Yes, you can't. Yeah, you can't expect it just to magically be better. You're gonna have to take some action and responsibility.
Yeah, these are action cards. A lot of them, like this is an action card. That one, she's kind of sitting back. This is like coming to terms with something. This is like destroying something.
That's gonna be action.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the celebration, the thorns, like they're creating something.
They're creating something. That's really good.
It looks like a reflection, and then there's a sailboat, but the sailboat is in the clouds. It looks like. So is that
like her next dream, like her next goal or something after something ends?
Yeah, I was thinking that was a dream too. So is that, because it says endings are inevitable, which initially has the sound of kind of negativity, but I feel like the imagery is like hopeful. Like she's like sitting there reflecting, and she has like a black hat on, but then the things that she's looking towards are so colorful, like a sunset or a sunrise. I can't even tell if it's a sunset or a sunrise. It could be either one.
That's true. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, it's like this juxtaposition of positive and something not necessarily negative, but coming to terms with something, but also a positive spin on that.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe it is something that finally ends, that came up in 2020, and maybe it has a resolution, or it needs to end in order for like a new beginning.
Oh yeah.
Because that's always the case, isn't it? Like you can't have something new without something else possibly like coming to an end.
That's true. Like every ending is a new start, is a new beginning.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
The card that sticks out to me the most is this one. It seems like so much wrapped up in that, but all the cards really good at depicting some really unique scenarios.
Yeah.
But do any of the cards stand out to you in particular, or do they just all kind of go together for you, or what?
I feel like they go together, which I guess makes sense because it's from the same deck, so they have a similar. Right, they're all by the same artist. They have a similar thing. Yeah, I feel like they do like weave a story. It's kind of like they're all of them have some element of action and reflection, and then like decision.
Yeah, I like that about it. It seems like they really were really thoughtful when they created this deck.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, we'll show what it is again in case anyone wants to get it. Believe in your own magic. Oracle deck. It's really cool.
Yeah, so if someone had come across like this reading, just like an image of like these cards together like this, and then might want to, and without like reading or listening to our interpretation, might have like seen it, what do you think they could take from it, or like just as an example?
Like if they're doing this by themselves,
or if they came across this like a snapshot of like this layout, like what would they like? What's the overall like meaning someone might take from this?
That's a good question.
It's up to them, I guess.
Yeah, you'd have to interpret it yourself. I think I would just say what sticks out to you the most, because there's a couple of different ideas. Like for me, I felt myself repelled from this one. I don't feel comfortable with that card. This one really resonates with me. That one I'm confused by. This one seems kind of poignant. And that one definitely has a certain atmosphere. So yeah, just pay attention to what you're drawn to and what, like read the theme, but then what does that mean to you? Yeah. That's interesting that you're repelled by this card. That's what it said. It says swim away from it. Yeah. So, you feel like you want to swim away from it. Yeah. Literally. Yeah. It feels like some kind of confrontation almost or something to me. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, and she's almost like, even though she's swimming, like she's like cowering. It's like, yeah, definitely swim away from someone who makes you feel like cowering. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Cool. Well, thank you.
So,
yeah.
2021, here we come.
This is great. I'm glad we got to reflect on all this. I'm glad we got to talk about just a few of the ideas that come up with cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's so much interpretation and meaning behind, but yeah, it really is different for everyone.
Yeah. Well, when you have your coaching clients, how would you suggest to them? Would you suggest to them cards? Do you think, after hearing a little bit about it, or would you leave it up to them, or what?
I would leave it. I think it depends on what they're dealing with and what they're open to. But yeah, I think I would use my intuition too to see if it's something that they would be interested in and might gain something for. And I'm like always learning from my clients too, so I think in some instances I bet some of my clients would have more experience, maybe direct experience with cards than I do, because mine's kind of been like a not an observer, but like I haven't done so much direct research with cards on my own.
Yeah, so maybe they'll bring an insight to you that they did on their own, but they can incorporate it or something.
Yeah, and maybe like recommendations or things like we talk about like their health, like they might be able to kind of incorporate more in their life by doing it, like by bringing their spiritual journey into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope our discussion and card reading has given you insight into yourself and been a good introduction into tarot and oracle if this is your first introduction, or it's furthered your interest a little bit. If you want to learn more about Belle's offerings and about intuition and cards in general, we'll link her site below. And if you're interested in getting more in depth about your own health and getting support and action steps you might want to take, we'll link my website below as well if you'd like to set up a free discovery call to see if we might like to be working together. Alright, thanks.